We are going to drop the oil today and possibly the transmission fluid. I don't know. See how far we get. Okay, another day in the shop. Put the car up on the roller skates here now, so I can kind of push it around the shop and maneuver it a little bit easier. We are going to drop the oil today and possibly the transmission fluid. I don't know. See how far we get. What kind of condition the bottom of the oil pan is. See how much water comes out the bottom. Hopefully not very much. Dipstick, everything looks good on the dipstick, but we'll drop the pan and see what's gonna go on there. We are gonna be trying to pick the engine out with the transmission, I think, within the next week. So I'm just gonna drop the fluids out of both, lighten the load a little bit and have them drain for when they come out of the car. So yeah, that's about it. So we'll go down under, see if I've got enough height just on the roller skates to get under there to get the drain plug loose, and take it from there. Everything's pretty much, I think, detached here. At the linkage, I just needed to pull that one rod out from right there, and that was everything left that was attaching this throttle assembly to the firewall of the car there. So it's got, you know, the kick down linkage for the transmission is what that connects to, and there's a bracket on the back of the bell housing that's holding that on there, but that'll come off with the engine when I pull it out, so it'll stay attached. There's the rod for the kick down linkage right there, so that is good. Engine mounts down here, these came loose. Pretty simple. These ones actually weren't tight at all. They were barely overhand tight, to be honest. So that was a pleasant surprise, I think, I hope. Maybe it's been off before and not tightened up. These are the transmission cooler lines down here, and they go to the cooler up here. I've got this fitting loose. Sorry, get this breaker bar out of the way. Got that fitting loose now, so that one I wanted to, you know, while it was still attached to the engine, I was able to put the 5/8 on here, a 1/2 inch on here, and use some leverage to break that loose. It was pretty tight, way tighter than the engine mounts were. I've got another fitting down here. I'm having a little bit of a access issue. I think if that one's going to be as tight as the top one, I'm going to just leave it. So the cooler is going to stay attached to the timing cover, water pump assembly here, which is attached to the engine, so that'll come all out together. And because I'm pulling the transmission together with the engine, I don't need those lines disconnected, because they're all going to come out, you know, attached to each other. If I was pulling the engine itself and I was having issues with that, I would have disconnected the cooler altogether from the timing cover here and just kind of had it hanging out and pull the engine out around it. This is kind of probably fragile. You know, it's not cast iron. It looks like it's pot metal or something, possibly aluminum. I'm not sure. But pulling the engine out around that, I would have had to been really careful. So I'm just going to leave it attached there. Fuel pump, got the line off. No problem on that one. A little stiff, but that came out easy. So I'm going to pull it with the pump attached to the timing cover. Engine mount on this side. This back bolt here, this one was a little stiff, but it came free. Dirty, everything was sludge covered here. This front one was like the other side, not very tight. So I've got nothing else attached, really. Up front, just the engine mounts. I got to pull bolts. So up here, we're ready to get the cherry picker set up, and hopefully I've got room to yank it out. My bolts in there ready to go. So all I've got left to do underneath is I got to finish removing the drive shaft. I've got to get the speedometer cable off, and I need to get the transmission lever, the steering column lever linkage disconnected, which is just one cotter pin, so that won't be too difficult. So we'll go under the car now and finish disconnecting all that. I have the car up on the dollies. I'm going to need to rotate the drive shaft slightly to get the bolts out. So I'm going to have to jack the car up and move the wheel a little bit to do that. I've got an issue in the rear end. Every time I turn around in the car, there's more issues that come up, but it stopped rolling backwards. It would roll forwards, but not backwards. So that's not really fun. So that was one of the reasons why I put it up on the dollies. Car wasn't rolling backwards, so now it'll roll with the roller skates. But I have to jack the car up and turn the wheel manually on the hub there to get the drive shaft to turn to get to all the hardware on it. And I'm not sure what's going on. Probably something in the differential. Just probably needs to be torn apart and cleaned out. There's probably some binding going on in there somewhere. So yeah, so we'll go under the car. We'll get the speedo detached, and we'll get that steering column lever detached, drive shaft detached, and the transmission rear mounts detached. And we're ready to yank it. So we'll go underneath now. Okay, it's Future Darren here. I'm gonna go through this this video here. It's not a great quality and the audio is not great, so I'm just going to do a voiceover here as to what's going on. So we pulled the drain plug. This oil pan has not been cracked since 1964, probably at least, and we're getting a little bit of water coming out the bottom, which is not surprising. You know, obviously oil's lighter than water. Water's going to sit to the bottom of the pan. And what we've got here is water coming out, and there is a odor of vinegar. So when we were doing Operation Break Free, obviously we put a lot of vinegar down through the cylinders, trying to free things up, get the rust free. So we got some water coming through. It is what it is, but you know, ultimately not very much, considering, you know, again, 1964 was the last time this drain plug's been opened. To see a little bit of the water is not a big surprise. There has been some valves open and whatnot, so we're just gonna check in the viscosity here. It's kind of watery, but a little bit of oil now coming through. You know, the kind of water kind of stopped, and it's kind of plugged. I don't have the drain plug completely out. It's just enough to kind of have some flow through. Oh, we pulled the plug. Okay, pulled the plug. Oil's coming out, and it's oil. It's got a bit of a red tinge to it. Part of that is that it's oil from 1964. We also put a lot of ATF fluid down there, a lot of Marble Mystery Oil. So it's not surprising to see that it's not black. And it's actually fairly clear when you consider, again, this oil's been in there for 60 years. Move the camera a little bit there. It's a little bit red. Marble Mystery Oil is in there for sure. There's ATF fluid. There's some vinegar, of course, acetone. Lots of other things we put in there trying to get the engine to break free, and it did not. So what's coming out, it's mostly oil. Viscosity is very, very much oil-like for sure. And, you know, all in all, it's great. We're not seeing any big chunks come out. There's no metal really showing. So, you know, all in all, I think it's looking pretty good. So, you know, in hindsight, again, this is future Darren coming to you regarding this drop of the fluids. I'm pretty encouraged by this. Really, it's good, clean oil. One thing about, you know, this type of oil, when it sits over a long period of time, it can come out looking clean. Like when you look at it right there, it's like it just came out of the can originally, but you know, all the sediments have settled out and they're sitting on the bottom of the pan for sure, but we're not seeing any of that come out through the drain plug. So I think overall it's a good result. You know, to the right there on the screen, we've got the pan for the transmission, and I don't think I've got video of that coming out, but I did drain the transmission pan as well, and it came out pretty clear as well. So I'm hoping the transmission is fine. I'm just going to refill that, and once the engine comes back from the machine shop, we will just kind of reattach the transmission and hope that it works. You know, it's been, again, 60 years since this motor's been run, and since the transmission's been run. Fluid that came out of the oil of the transmission pan was also pretty clean. So these old school transmissions, there's no electronics, so it's just all hydraulics. So having everything come out of there pretty clean and clear is hopefully a good sign for the future. You know, it is what it is. But we're gonna pull this motor out now, and we'll see what we got once we get the motor out. So stay tuned.